folks, Captain Flying Toaster here, coming to you today from my top secret state-of-the-art Rucking Information Center, my RIC. It's a web browser with the Garmin Connect page. It's really nothing special, but it does let me do a lot to plan out my routes, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is my planned route for my 50-miler on December 4th. Starting with sort of the overview information here, total route is 50.71 miles. I'm going to get it out of the way right now. I do have at least one lovely viewer outside of the United States. However, there are going to be a lot of numbers in this episode, and I do not have the brain power to convert those all to metric, so we are going straight imperial style for this episode, and I make my high school science teachers cry. Sorry. So total is 50.71 miles, a little bit over 50 miles. If things end up shorter in the real world, because that does happen, trails get closed, I end up having to take shortcuts or whatever reason, there are lots of dog legs I can do to make sure that I get up to my 50 miles. Estimated pace 25 minutes per mile. I came to this figure three different ways. First, I just pulled something completely out of my butt, and then I decided to throw some science at it. I took my running numbers and I looked at my typical run versus my ultra run and looked at what sort of performance drop-off I saw with those sort of extreme distances. Came up with about a 27% performance drop-off and applied that to my very consistent 3.3 mile per hour rucking pace. So that gets me up to about 25 minutes per mile. The other sanity check I ran on that number is I took my typical rucking pace of about an 17.5, 18-minute mile. I took the slowest I could possibly imagine going, which is 30 minutes per mile, and split the difference. So any way you cut it, I think that is a fairly accurate number for what sort of pace I'll be looking at for that 50-miler. Faster would be better because that gets me home sooner, and that's awesome. Slower would be acceptable. Finishing is the only option. Total time about 21 hours. Said my range is at minimum 17 hours. Maximum I expect to spend out there would be 25 hours. Elevation 1,379 feet. When you do the math, that comes out to about 27 feet of elevation per mile, or about 2.5, 3 flights of stairs. By comparison, the Appalachian Trail, which is not the hilliest trail in the world by any stretch, gains about 250 feet per mile, or 10 times as much. So by most people's standards, this is a very, very flat course. You can see the elevation profile here, and we'll be pointing out some of the literal ups and downs of the course as we go into some of the details. And you see here we have our nice course overview. It is a complete loop. I start and finish at home while completely circumnavigating Lake Apopka. You see we have these little white water droplets in the magenta circles. Those are places where water is available for me to top off. There are 7 water stops total, so once again the quick math says there's one about every 7 miles, or every 2 to 3 hours. I'm carrying at least 3 liters of water, so that will last me 3 to 5 hours. So I'm in good shape there as far as water goes. We'll talk a little bit more detail there, because they're not exactly laid out evenly. Going into kind of a mile by mile, blow by blow, what I'm expecting. Now, I did my best to set a good internet safety example for my children. I have not exactly started this at my home. The actual starting point, if you look very closely, is the ice cream parlor in the town of Montverde, which is not super far from my house, and if I plan on making it to ice cream, I can make it anywhere. So, I will be starting before light. I will be starting at 6 in the morning. My first segment, this first 3 miles, is along a 2-lane county road. There is a pedestrian trail along the first quarter mile or so, and then I'll be walking around the shoulder. It is a nice, broad, safe road. I have done this section a million times, running and rucking, so I'm very comfortable and familiar with it. There's this tiny little hill, but really nothing to sweat. Because I will be along the roadside, I am taking traffic safety precautions. I will be going along the left side of the road so I can see oncoming traffic coming. I will be wearing a headlamp so that I can be more visible to traffic, and I can also see what's on the ground in front of me so I don't trip over any branches or step in any dead possums or anything like that. I will also be wearing the often imitated, never duplicated U.S. military surplus reflective PT belt, which is known far and wide to protect you from any and all safety hazards. So I will have a PT belt wrapped around my pack and one wrapped around my waist to keep my visibility up so that this doesn't become the shortest ruck ever. So yeah, first 3 miles, easy peasy. That gets us here to this intersection of 455 and 561A. The next 2 miles, from mile 3 to mile 5 here, is still county road. It is narrower. I am a little bit more concerned safety-wise there, but once again, being on the left-hand side of the road, being so early in the morning, there won't be a lot of folks on the road that early on a Friday morning. And being lit up like a Vegas Christmas tree, I don't think there's any actual hazard that hasn't been sufficiently mitigated. I've done this segment a couple of times, but not super often because, like I said, it is not the safest segment, but I think it is an acceptable risk under the circumstances. Mile 5 gets me to the Green Mountain trailhead. I'll be getting there around 8 in the morning, which is first light. It's also my first opportunity to top off my water. I've been going at it for about 2 hours, so that is definitely not a bad idea. If you've ever been to the Green Mountain trailhead, you know it has this weird little switchback thing that descends onto the trail itself. Trail conditions over the entire trail are very favorable. Essentially, the entire trail is paved. The condition of that pavement varies. Here on the Lake Apopka North Shore, it's pretty rough. If you were to drive your car on it, you would probably need a front end alignment shortly after. But it is mountain bikeable. There are no loose chunks of asphalt or anything to trip on. It is very easy footing. There are segments that are packed dirt road, and then the rest of it is rather smoothly paved. In fact, the West Orange Trail is paved better than my driveway. So that's the sort of trail conditions. I don't have any sandiness or anything like that to worry about. Into the Lake Apopka Loop, between 7 and 9 here, goes through a nice little segment of wetlands. I could have gone up this way to the Clay Island Trailhead and over, but this segment is packed dirt road with really nothing to look at. This is a lot prettier. Lots of interesting animals, lots of interesting plants. It's all Dagobah looking, so I chose that route around rather than the northern route. Now, the other concern I have is this is all pretty isolated. These aren't really roads in white. These are like one-lane service roads that the Water District uses to maintain the canals and wetlands in here. So I have a water stop here at mile 5, and I don't have another water stop until a little bit after mile 18. So that's a little more than 13 miles that I need to go without being able to refill my water. That's pushing the envelope, but it's within the envelope. I figure I can go up to 8 hours on the water I'll be carrying. I'll be carrying 4 liters of water, 3 in a Camelback and 1 liter in reserve, specifically for this long segment of trail without a water stop. So it's pushing the envelope, but it is doable. I'm also a lot more comfortable doing that at the beginning of the ruck, and possibly allowing myself a slight water deficit rather than trying to push that envelope at the end of the ruck when I'm pushing the limits in other ways as well. So that mile 18, mile 19 water stop is at the historic pump house. Um, that is not a bar or any other facility of ill repute. It is an actual water pumping facility that used to feed water to the canal system back in the day. I don't know if it has any modern agricultural use, but it does have running water and restrooms, so I will be very happy to see it. The rest of this is along the shore through wetlands. I've not actually hiked this segment between Pump House and Magnolia Park here. That's going to be one of my training rucks is going to be to cover that territory, so I don't have any surprises on the day of the event. The Lake Apopka trailhead here in Magnolia Park is the next opportunity for water and restrooms. And then things get a little weird and suburban. I need to make the transfer between the Lake Apopka North Shore Trail system and the West Orange Trail, and they don't directly connect. So that's going to see me going down Ocoee Apopka Road, McCormick, and then down Ingram. The other piece of reconnaissance I need to do ahead of time is I need to see exactly how Ingram connects to the West Orange Trail here. I don't know if this dogleg here is necessary, if there's a fence or something perhaps separating them, or if I can cut this corner and just go straight onto the trail here. It wouldn't cut me short of my 50 miles if I lost that dogleg, and quite frankly, I hate doglegs on runs and rucks, so if I can skip that, that'd be great. So I'm going to have to swing by there, perhaps on my way to Magnolia Park, and determine what's going on there. At this point, I'm on the West Orange Trail. This winds through suburban backyards. Once again, it is very smoothly paved. Road cyclists love it. There are frequent water stops. Scenery is okay. Like I said, you walk through some neat houses and neat neighborhoods. Well, you don't walk through houses. That would be rude. Past some neat houses, nice neighborhoods, and some mini parks, and it's very pleasant territory. I've done the entire West Orange Trail running, so I know what the terrain and territory and everything is like. And as you can see, once I get out of Magnolia Park and the North Apopka Trail system, things do start rolling a little bit. This paved segment here along the lakeshore is entirely pancake flat, but we have some gently rolling hills here on the West Orange Trail. Chapin Station Park is another opportunity for water and restrooms. There's also Winter Garden Station. It's not far. I am still going to top off so that I'm always full of water at all times. Haven't talked much about time passing. I'll be getting here to downtown Winter Garden, mile 32, around 7:30 in the evening. Sunset is at 6:30, so I'm once again in the dark with a headlamp and all the reflective gear in the world and some flashy bits and whatnot so that I can be seen. I do have a food stop marked here for Winter Garden Pizza. Depending on how I'm doing food-wise, if I feel like I'm hungry, if I'm tolerating solid food well, if you've ever done a long endurance race, even the half marathon and marathon distances, you'll know that sometimes you do find yourself running on your stomach, and if you can't tolerate food, you're going to end up having a bad time. So hopefully this is not one of those times, and I am able to tolerate full solid foods, and a couple slices of pizza might really hit the spot, and so I might hit the takeout window there, get a couple slices of pizza, slap them together, cheese sides together, and munch that going down the trail. The other very distinct possibility is across from Winter Garden Pizza is Scoop's Ice Cream. I would not rule out the possibility of stopping for an ice cream cone. I'm burning something like 6,300 calories on this little adventure, so anything edible and portable is fair game. For those of you not familiar, the West Orange Trail through Winter Garden goes down their main street, Plant Street, right down the middle of the street. Once again, this will be December, so they'll have Christmas lights and everything up, and that'll be all pretty and such. And then once again, once we get to Oakland, we're back through people's backyards and some mini parks and such. I will be doing a drive-by by Oakland Nature Preserve. This is going to be 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, so I can't actually do any mileage in the preserve, but I will wave because I've spent a lot of time rucking there. Over here, around mile 37, we have two important landmarks. Killarney Station has a water fountain available for me to top off. There are restrooms there, but at this hour they may be closed. Also, there's a Circle K here just off the trail at mile 37. Clerks fans, I did not intentionally put a convenience store at mile 37, but if that gives you a chuckle, chuckle away. Once again, depending on my GI status and hunger level and morale, there's a non-zero possibility of stopping at the Circle K for a Mountain Dew and a Snickers or some other sort of little piece of junk food as a treat for myself for making it this far. Also, they do have restrooms 24/7. Whether it's at Killarney or the Circle K, mile 37 is my last chance to use a proper human restroom. Luckily, I only have about 5 or 6 hours left at this point. And if there's one thing they teach you in nursing school, it's how to not go to the bathroom for long periods of time. So hopefully I'm not putting that skill to the test too hard. Just after Killarney Station, you make the transition from the West Orange Trail to the South Lake Trail. It is also nicely paved and safe from traffic. It's a little bit different in that there aren't frequent water stops along it. This is my last stop for water for quite some time. One other kind of landmark I wanted to point out is right here at the intersection of Old 50 and 455. This is going to be a psychologically challenging point in the ruck, because I have a choice to make here. If I go left and continue following the trail, it is approximately 40 miles to home. If I go straight and hop onto 455, it is only 10 miles to home. So, correction, it's only 4 miles to home. So 4 miles versus 10 miles. And at that point, it's starting to get late, it's dark, it's starting to get cool. I've gone a long way already. Getting past that temptation of giving up here is probably, is a non-zero factor. But I'm psyching myself up. I'm preparing myself for that decision, and I am planning on going left. The South Lake Trail continues along Old 50, and then along Hancock here. The Lake Mineola Athletic Complex is my very last stop for water, mile 43 or so. They may have restrooms, but I don't think they'll be open at this hour, but I can at the very least swing by and hit the water fountain and top off. This is all off-road trail still, crossing over the turnpike. Not crossing the turnpike, I'm not looking to do Frogger IRL. And that gets me to Hancock and 561 here. And here between 46.5 and 48 is the other segment of trail that I am most concerned about. This is kind of a narrow county road. It is going to be late at night. It's going to be, midnight, 1 in the morning when I'm coming through here. So pedestrians aren't really expected. I will be lit up like a Vegas Christmas tree, but it is still a little on the risky side. Once I get past Sugarloaf Mountain here, things do get a little bit wider. So it's especially between 46.5 and Sugarloaf that I'm a little bit concerned about traffic safety. But there is a gutter the whole way that I can always throw myself into if there is a car coming that is heedless of my presence. and that gets me back to 455 and 561. I passed through on the previous morning on my way to the Green Mountain Trailhead, and it is all downhill from there. Well, it's slightly all downhill from there. There's a hill here at mile 2, correction, mile 49. There's a slight hill, but once again, nothing I can't handle. This hill here is the steepest. That's right here, leading up to the Lake Mineola Athletic Complex, going up Hancock here. That's the steepest climb I have to make. I've done steeper climbs in training. I don't love that it's toward the end of the ruck when I'm starting to get tired. I would, all things equal, I would rather do that sort of climb on fresh legs, but I also don't want to do that 13-mile stretch without water on tired legs either. So the safer of the two options is to take the hill later on. And then 3.1 miles to home sweet home, shower, fresh socks, and some well-earned rest. So that is the grand master plan for my 50-miler, geographically at least. Thank you very much for watching. Folks that have contributed to my fundraiser so far, thank you very, very much. We are almost at the $1,000 mark. I'm looking forward at breaking that and pushing on to my ultimate $5,000 goal. Thank you all very much for your financial support at this point. Also getting a lot of moral support, a lot of folks putting reminders on their calendars to send me shout-outs when I am doing this ruck on the 4th, so thank you folks very much. I'm feeling the love. And it's of course for a very good cause. This is partially about Captain Flying Toaster doing painful things to himself, but it's also about trying to save some lives while I do that. So once again, thank you very much for your support, financial and otherwise. And that is all I've got for now. Any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and throw those in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you when I am actually on the trails. So long.